we doing? So remember last time we worked on 500 Miles High? We're going to continue on to the solo section. And if you did those other lessons, what were they? Locrian Sharp 2, Altered, and the 2 modal workout lessons. You're ready for the song. You can do it. Now, this is a great song. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely check it out. It was, I think, released in '73 on Chick Corea's Return to Forever record. What was that record called? Light as a Feather, I think it was. And it was really a crazy kind of recording. That melody line was sung. It's got lyrics. And then the playing is just explosively crazy. I mean, Chick Corea just plays the craziest stuff you ever heard. So this is really a good song to check out. Now, to give you a little bit background personally on this song, when I was in music school in the 80s, the guitar player for Chick Corea's electric band, Frank Gambale, came to school and he did a seminar. And it was like 200 guitar students, me being just one of them. And he said, anybody want to come up and play a song? We're going to play Chick Corea's 500 Miles High. And nobody wanted to go up because Frank is so great, right? He's such an incredible guitar player. And so I didn't want to go up. And all my classmates started chanting, Chris, 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 Chris. And so I had to go up. And I was scared because he was so good, and I was just, not that good. I wasn't really that great in those days. I don't know if I am now either, but, so I didn't want to play with him. But I went up and I played, and I had to play through not an amp, but the PA system. And Frank, played my solo, and Frank just smoked it. And I mean, he just smoked me off the stage. And I went back to my chair and I sat down, I felt humiliated a little bit. And, but Frank was a good guy about it. He said, so what does everybody think about Chris's solo? And nobody really wanted to say good or bad or whatever, right? And so Frank said, well, Chris played all the right scales, So yeah, let's give him credit. He played all the proper scales. He knows all the scales that go over these chords. But he did give me some good criticism, constructive criticism. He said, but he didn't really have too much to say, did he? He wasn't very musical. And he was right. This was the God's honest truth. He didn't say it in a mean way or anything. I mean, of course, I felt sad about it, and I wanted to quit guitar. But he said, I didn't have any interesting ideas. And that was a good lesson for me, because I realized that just because you know the scales doesn't mean that you can make good music out of them. And so I sort of changed my outlook on what was, my goals when practicing. It wasn't just to learn the scales, it was to play them in a musical idea and come up with motifs and nice phrases, And so you always keep that in mind when you practice these things. So let's get into it. Let's look at the chart here. It's going to pop up over there, okay? So when we look at it, and it's like I said in the last video, this is in the key of, there's no key. I mean, it doesn't have a key signature, so you might want to think it's C, but there's nothing from the key of C in this song, right? There's no chords from the key of C. So that tells you that it's just modal. All these chords are going to be, I don't know if random is the right word, but they're probably going to be unrelated. There's no way to put a key signature on it, okay? So that E minor 7 chord, if we look at all the melody notes there, it's got a B and a D and an A and an F sharp and a D. It doesn't really tell us too much, because, that could be, it could be Dorian, or it could be Aeolian, and we just don't know. So that means you have the choice of these things. I tend to pick Dorian, but it doesn't have to be Dorian. It could just as well be Aeolian. But anyways, I'm going to play Dorian. You can experiment with what you'd like. And remember, we have, the 3 minor pentatonic scales and the 3 triads too. And I'll have that in the PDF so you can look at it. For the minor pentatonic scales, which I'll probably use a lot of in the demo, is going to be E, F sharp, and B, okay? Now, the next chord, we've got G minor 7. Now, this tells you what it is, because the melody note tells you what it is, because you have to always look at what's in the melody. It's got an E note on top of a G minor chord. Right? And so that's the 6th, and there's only a major 6 in one of the modes, which is Dorian. So this is Dorian. All right. Now, if we keep looking on, we can see that the next chord is B flat major 7 with a G in it, which is the 6th. That doesn't mean anything. That's in the major scale or the Lydian scale. But the trick here is that if you think about it, G minor 7 is the 2 chord in F major, right? And that's the Dorian chord. And then that B flat major is going to be the 4 chord in F major, okay? So those 2 chords are related. They're from the same parent scale. So you're going to play F major over the whole thing, or the 3 pentatonic scales, or, or the arpeggios if you want to, right? And so next we get a B minor 7, flat 5, E7 sharp 9, and A minor 7. Now, this is a little pocket of diatonic harmony here, right? Just 2, 5, and A minor. But you don't want to play harmonic minor. This is not that kind of music. Harmonic minor would be a little too stinky for this. You want more of a modern sound. So I'm just going to suggest that you go with the lesson that I taught on Locrian sharp 2, and you play that on B minor 7 flat 5, which would be D melodic minor. And then for the E7 sharp 9, you're just going to play altered, right? So the E7 altered. A minor, let's just say it's Dorian. Doesn't have to be, could be Aeolian too. But again, minor pentatonic scales on the 1, the 2, and the 5. So A, B, E minor pentatonic scale. Next, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Well, okay, so if you play A Dorian on A minor 7, then that's the same as F sharp Locrian. Okay, so that's definitely a good choice. Personally, I'm going to play Locrian sharp 2. Do you know why? Because I just like it. That's all. Next, F minor 7. Well, that could be F Dorian 2, and then C minor 7. Well, that could be C Dorian, or it could be any of it could be Aeolian 2. We don't know, but you can choose what you like. I tend to play C minor pentatonic scale over both these chords, but you'll see. I'm not sure what I'll play in the demo. We'll see, okay? Next is the B7 sharp 5 sharp 9. Now, this would be B altered, so that's C melodic minor, okay? And so that's what we got. Remember, on the B7 altered chord, you can also play a minor pentatonic scale on the flat 3 of that chord, so D minor pentatonic scale. And I sort of like that idea, maybe, because before that, if I'm playing C minor pentatonic scale, and if I want to play E minor pentatonic scale after the B7, then I'm going C minor pentatonic scale, D minor pentatonic, E minor pentatonic scale, and then maybe D minor pentatonic scale for the G minor 7 chord. And that seems like a cool idea to me, so maybe I'll try something like that. Okay, so that's how you sort of want to approach this song. Again, I suggest that you stay in close proximity to each scale, and that way it's easier to connect them, right? And then, I forgot to mention the other, when I listened to, I didn't really analyze it and transcribe it, but if you listen to what Chick plays, I don't know if it's really altered. Sometimes it sounds like diminished to me, because I hear like a diminished sound, like 4 triads that you get from the half-whole diminished scale. You could check that lesson out on YouTube as well if you want to learn about that. One other thing I forgot to mention: this track, that I recorded, that I sequenced, doesn't sound anything like the original track. It's not near as daring and ambitious tempo-wise. So, but practicing slow is better at first, and you can get it up to the Chick Corea tempo if you want to play like they do. So keep that in mind when you're practicing.